Tonight at 5, fresh off an election win, Governor Tony Evers visits a Madison school to talk about the importance of education.
Plus, we're breaking down how young voters help determine this year's election results.
And Florida communities are preparing once again for another potential hurricane as Tropical Storm Nicole moves closer to the state. You're watching News 3 now at 5. We are seeing record temperatures this week.
Plus, a weather alert day for possible severe weather to tell you about.
And Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti out on the weather patio. He has all the details. Gary?
Well, go figure. November 10th, tomorrow, we could be looking at record high temperatures, then severe weather, and then a huge drop in temperatures so that by Friday morning we could be looking at some snow flurries. Let's start out by taking a look at visible cloud track. It was a beautiful day today. We had clouds this morning, but you can see how the clouds eroded away. We had sunshine this afternoon. Now skies are mainly clear across most of southern Wisconsin. There are some showers to our north and west across parts of central Minnesota to northwestern Wisconsin, but nothing imminent for us. Tomorrow there is a severe weather threat. Storm Prediction Center has a slight risk or level 2 risk of severe thunderstorms west of Dane County and a marginal risk to the Madison area for possibility for an isolated severe thunderstorm. Strong winds and perhaps an isolated tornado are the main threats. So we do have an alert day in the forecast, mainly for tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. If you are traveling or going to be out, be prepared for the potential for some severe weather again, especially in areas west of Madison. Low temperatures started out in the upper 40s this morning after midnight. We were in the mid 40s earlier yesterday evening, so those temperatures rose overnight. We're at 67 right now in Madison. It's in the low 70s out to the west of us. Across Dane County, temperatures are as warm as 69 degrees in McFarland, 69 in Cross Plains, and 68 in Middleton. Look for partly cloudy skies this evening. Temperatures only dropping into the lower 60s. By morning, we'll be in the upper 50s. That's above what our average high temperature is for this time of year. But again, an alert day for tomorrow. I'll have more on the severe weather threat and then the big change in temperatures on Friday in just a few minutes.
Gary, thank you. As expected, we needed to stay up very late to find out how some key races in Wisconsin turned out. One actually took until late this morning.
The race for U.S. Senate was neck and neck, but Ron Johnson pulled away in the end. Mandela Barnes conceded the race this afternoon in Milwaukee, just a few hours after the Associated Press called the race. Unofficial totals show Senator Johnson winning by about 2 points. Political reporter Will Keneally joins us with more. Will?
That's right, Susan. So we had a sense that this is how the race was going to shape up last night. Johnson had a lead towards the end of the night, but with not many votes left for Barnes to make up the difference. Polls showed Barnes wouldn't win, but he came close, benefiting from a good night for Democrats across the board. He thanked his supporters in Milwaukee just a few hours ago.
Now, unfortunately, we didn't get over the finish line this time. But I know that this movement has meant so much to all of us. Or just because we didn't get across the finish line, that does not mean it's over.
So Barnes says he's interested in continuing the push for the issues that he campaigned on. During his concession call with Johnson, Barnes said he reminded the senator of some of those issues. So what does this mean for Wisconsin? This will largely be just the status quo, with Johnson retaining his seat. He's positioned himself as a check on the Biden administration, so we could expect to see him as a reliable conservative vote in the Senate. And for his part, Johnson released a statement today saying in part that, quote, the truth has prevailed over lies in the politics of personal destruction.
Will, thank you. Governor Tony Evers stopped at O'Keefe Middle School in Madison today, fresh off his election win. The governor defeated businessman Tim Michaels for another term. Before the event, Governor Evers mingled with some students. A crowd quickly gathered, with many people snapping selfies with the governor. He then spoke about the importance of public education.
This last election, a good piece of this was about public education and where it fits, whether referendums are passed, whether there's enough resources. And you know, there's a handful of things that really are bipartisan issues, and education is one of them. No question about it.
Tim Michaels took the stage just after midnight to say that he had just called Governor Evers to concede. He told supporters he doesn't know what he would have done differently and thanked everyone for their support. A historic night in Wisconsin left us with a split race in 2 top races, senator and governor.
And that's a first since the Jim Doyle era and leaves a spotlight on potentially tens of thousands of ticket splitters. Naomi Coles is back at the map board to explain. Naomi?
So the first thing to notice here, what you're looking at behind me, this is the Senate result map where Ron Johnson won. Now, Ron Johnson won with more than 65,000 votes than Tim Michels had. Of course, we know Tim Michels lost to Governor Evers. So where are those votes coming from? How do we end up with this kind of split result? I'll show you an example of how. If we move back up here, I've got both the governor map, that's at the top, the result map, and the Senate map below. So if we're going to zoom in on, let's just take Dane County. Dane County produces tens of thousands of votes for Republicans, even though it's a blue county. So if we look at the votes that Tim Michels got here, he got about 62,000 votes, or 20% of the vote. If we scroll down here to Dane County on the Senate map, at this point, 68,000 votes, 22% of the vote. Now that's a difference of 6,000 votes. So how do we get to 65,000? Well, that's the story we see replicated around the entire state. I went through county after county after county on this map everywhere. Ron Johnson was pulling about 2, 3, sometimes 4 more points than Michels was. Now what that amounts to, it's 6,000 votes here, it's 6,000 votes in Milwaukee, it's 6,000 votes in Waukesha, it's 3,000, 4,000 votes in Ozaukee, in Green Bay, and that's replicated around the state. Those are ticket splitters, and I think it says a lot about where the future of the Republican Party is going. What explains this? I did talk to an analyst to kind of help break down the issue.
Inside the state, I think we're seeing some real structural changes. We've had 4 cycles now where there's been this kind of steady erosion in the suburbs around Milwaukee and the suburbs around Madison. That's a structural change. That's under Republican presidents, Democratic presidents. That's significant, just like the Democratic erosion in the northern and western halves of Wisconsin.
So I want to talk about the erosion real quick. That's what Craig Gilbert just referenced. Now, this is not a results map that we're looking at now. This is a map I built showing every county where Tim Michels picked up points from Walker in 2018. Those are all shown in red. Counties where he did even compared to Walker, those are counties shown in yellow. And then counties where he lost points compared to Walker, those are shown in blue. Now, I think this map tells the obvious story of that erosion. He's losing points that Walker had in the very populous in Milwaukee, in the suburbs. He's losing points in the Fox Valley area. He's losing points in Dane County. All of that amounts to that erosion that we're talking about in the most populous areas of the state. Those blue counties amount to almost 2/3 of the population in Wisconsin. Craig Gilbert also mentioned the erosion in rural Wisconsin. We also saw that as well. Michels did pick up points in rural Wisconsin. It just wasn't enough to eke out a win. Eric, back to you.
All right, Naomi, thank you. And Democrat Josh Kaul will get a second term as Wisconsin's Attorney General, defeating Republican Eric Toney. The final tally by 2 points there. Kaul celebrating his victory with a speech outside the Capitol this morning where he spoke about the importance of unity moving forward.
We need to work together now. We have completed a lengthy campaign, and Wisconsinites have chosen to continue in the direction that we've been continuing in. I look forward to working across the aisle with Democrats and Republicans to move this state forward.
Kaul also said the 2 candidates had a good campaign, and he thanked Toney for running on the issues. As for Kaul's priorities, he wants to see bipartisan legislation that provides more state funding to communities for things like law enforcement and schools. Without formal exit polls, tough to know for sure how much college students influenced the results overnight, but there is some speculation they possibly swung the race for the governor.
It's a big impact on a big night with even bigger implications to potentially come. Our Tahalil Moeddin spoke with students at Madison today about what motivated them to go to the polls. Tahalil?
Eric and Susan, campus has been buzzing over the election results, but the students I spoke with tell me they've actually been following along all election season. Now, they credit 2 things as big motivators. The first, student groups and campaigns both focusing their efforts on pushing students to register to vote and learn about the issues. The second, having a personal stake in the issues that took center stage on the election season. Number 1 on their list was Roe v. Wade.
Reproductive rights and everything was a bigger portion of why I was voting.
They're problems that could have a really big impact on us later in our lives, and I think people are sort of realizing how imminent some things are.
Students also say the level of engagement on campus this midterm election was similar to what they would see during a presidential election. Now, they don't expect that trend to drop off. Tonight at 6, we'll have more on what this means for the future of elections in Wisconsin and what experts say the lessons are that can be learned here. For now, reporting live on the UW campus, Tahlil Muhaddin, News 3 Now.
Tahlil, thank you. Legalizing pot was also on the ballot in Dane County yesterday. Voters overwhelmingly approved it.
However, that vote doesn't actually do anything. It was an advisory referendum. Still, the person who wrote the question thinks it was worth the time. Our Andrew Banstra explains. Andrew?
Yeah, there were actually 2 marijuana-related referendums in Dane County yesterday to legalize and tax it recreationally and to wipe out past low-level convictions. The results showed a vast majority, basically 82% of people who voted yesterday were in favor of both of those. However, Wisconsin doesn't allow voters to decide such laws by referendum, so these are purely non-binding advisory matters. County Board Supervisor Aaron Collins said it's still a good way to show lawmakers where the people represent where they personally are at.
Here in Dane County, there's been marijuana referendums multiple times asking whether marijuana should be legalized for those over 21 for adult responsible usage. Every time that question has been posed to the voters, it has increased in popularity. And last night, what we saw was 82% of the people in the county saying that they think that marijuana should be legalized.
Now, Collins pointed out that while this has no impact on law, it puts pressure on legislators to support the will of the people. There was one other advisory referendum on the ballot yesterday. At 6, we'll walk you through that one and if the person who wrote it thinks her referendum will produce any results.
All right, Andrew, thank you. Coming up, Gary has the latest on tomorrow's weather alert day.
Plus, another storm has its eyes set on Florida as communities there brace for impact.
And inflation concerns continue to hit the markets. The Dow tumbles 647 points. The NASDAQ falls 263. S&P down 79.5. And we'll be right back.
Save on your next appliance upgrade with the 11% off everything right now at Menards. Upgrade your home with top appliance brands including KitchenAid, Maytag, Whirlpool, Amana, and Criterion. We have the largest in-stock appliance selection to take home today at the lowest prices. Upgrade to new energy-efficient appliances and get 11% off. Save big money on everything you need for your home now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey, we're here at the local farmers market where Informed Choice Insurance Agency is offering fresh, hand-picked local Medicare. What do you mean when you say shop local for Medicare?
Your local Medicare plans have all of the bells and whistles the national TV ads promise, only better because you're working with local agents who know the doctors, specialists, and the hospital networks inside and out. You're not going to get that talking to a national call center wanting to check your zip code.
Don't be fooled by national TV hype. When it comes to your Medicare options, keep it local with Informed Choice Insurance Agency, and their services are free.
Wells Fargo lets you know where you stand with your FICO credit score. What if you knew where you stood with everything, like your future in-laws?
Hope you like cats.
I hope your parents like me. They're whispering.
The kitties like her.
Oh, can they tell I'm allergic? Tears of joy.
Welcome to the family.
Like knowing where you stand? When it comes to your credit score, you can with Wells Fargo.
Things to do this
You pour your heart into everything you do, which is a lot. So take care of that heart with Lipton. Because sipping on unsweetened Lipton can help support a healthy heart. Lipton. Stop chugging, start sipping.
Ready to style in just one step? Introducing new Tresemme One-Step Stylers. 5 professional benefits, 1 simple step. Totally effortless. Styling has never been easier. Tresemme. Do it with style.
Here's to the holidays. Here's to the casserole queens and Santas who saute. To the turkeys brined in beer, and well, just beer. To the ones who do the most, and the ones who do the least. To the classic traditions, and whatever you call this one. This year, no matter how you holiday, Festival has you covered. Festival Foods, a Wisconsin tradition since 1946.
Referendums for the legalization of marijuana and repealing Wisconsin's abortion law receive overwhelming support. News 3 Now examines how the public opinion shown during the election may impact the law.
Then we look at how the youth vote helped the Democratic Party tonight at 6.
News 3 Now Sports brings you the Badger Blueprint. Join us every week for an exclusive look at Wisconsin football. From the practice field to the locker room to game day previews and highlights. Badger Blueprint, Wednesdays only on News 3 Now at 10.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
President Biden held a post-election news conference earlier today. He congratulated Democrats on their projected wins and commented on how the expected Republican red wave didn't happen.
While the press and the pundits are predicting a giant red wave, it didn't happen. And I know you were somewhat miffed by my obsessive optimism, but I felt good during the whole process.
The president also said Democratic losses are painful, but the party had a good night overall.
And some key races remain uncalled as the balance of power in the Senate rests in the hands of a few swing states. That would be Nevada, Arizona, and Georgia. A big boost for Democrats came in battleground Pennsylvania. John Fetterman there defeating Republican Mehmet Oz. While Democrats say the red wave didn't materialize, Republicans remain cautiously optimistic about taking control of the House.
American people are ready for a majority that will offer a new direction.
The country is divided, and that's a lot of what we saw last night.
The critical Senate race in Georgia is projected to go to a runoff. That'll be December 6th. Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker. The showdown with Walker and Warnock may be able to determine, it's key for determining party control in the Senate. And this just in, Nicole is now a hurricane and gaining strength as it moves toward Florida tonight. Right now, millions of people are bracing for this historic storm. Chris Wen has the latest.
Florida is once again bracing for another devastating storm, and this time it's expected to be historic.
I urge Floridians statewide to stay indoors in a safe structure and away from the coastline.
Nicole is forecasted to hit Florida's east coast late Wednesday into Thursday as a Category 1 hurricane. That would make it the first time in 37 years that a hurricane has made landfall in the U.S. in November.
The most recent track shows that it will make landfall in Martin County.
The region can't catch a break as it's recovering from the devastation left behind by Hurricane Ian. It's now bracing for more damage, possible tornadoes, and widespread power outages,
including tropical storm force winds as far north as Jacksonville. Winds are the main concern with Nicole, but we also expect to see some heavy rains, the potential for flash flooding, and 3 to 5 feet of storm surge in some areas.
Evacuation orders are in place for several counties, with some airports shutting down operations in preparation. A total of 23 school districts are expected to close Thursday, as officials urge all Florida residents to take precautions before it's too late.
There may come a time during and after the storm that local governments cannot immediately send first responder into harm's way to assist you. So therefore, make sure you have everything that you may need.
In Cocoa Beach, Florida, I'm Chris Wynn reporting.
All right, so Gary joins us now. He has more on the hurricane and also an alert day in our area. But Gary, first, what's happening in Florida?
Yeah, most of Florida is under either a tropical storm warning or a hurricane warning. The hurricane warning basically from just north of Miami to around St. Augustine and the east coast of Florida, pretty much covered by that. Right now, Hurricane Nicole, barely a hurricane, maximum sustained winds 75 miles an hour with gusts to 85 miles an hour, moving to the west at 12 miles per hour. Latest forecast from the National Hurricane Center brings it onshore as a Category 1 hurricane about midnight tonight, and then moves it across the Florida Peninsula up into Georgia, bringing heavy rain as it passes, and then eventually weakens it as it moves into the Carolinas. That will actually slow down some weather systems up to the north. We're dealing with a cold front that will be coming in from the west tomorrow that could bring the potential for severe weather. We do have an alert day in the forecast for the possibility for high winds and perhaps an isolated tornado in the strongest storms late tomorrow afternoon into very early tomorrow evening. The highest threat is in areas west of Madison. Storm Prediction Center has a level 2 or slight risk of severe thunderstorms west of about a Portage to Platteville line, a marginal risk or a level 1 risk for an isolated severe thunderstorm as far east as Madison and most of Dane County. High wind probability is the highest, but there's still an outside risk of an isolated tornado through much of that area. And then the hail threat is probably pretty minimal. At the same time, there's plenty of winter weather on the northwest side of the storm. Blizzard warnings now in effect for parts of North Dakota and winter storm warnings into parts of Minnesota. They could see upwards of a foot of snow from central North Dakota into northwestern Minnesota and perhaps some pretty intensive ice accumulations, perhaps as much as a half-inch of ice accumulation from the same storm. The storm just starting to come together. It's actually down in Colorado and Wyoming and will travel right along this front, dragging a cold front through. So right now, we're in the warm air sector of the storm with warm southerly winds. All the precipitation right now is behind the cold front back to the west. Look at the difference in, well, I was going to say look at the difference in temperatures, but here's our forecast for tonight. Look at these temperatures. These are warmer than our overnight low temperature or daytime high temperatures for this time of year. 59 for the low in Madison, 60 in Verona, 61 in Cross Plains. Across the rest of southern Wisconsin, a low of 65 in Lone Rock and 65 in Prairie du Chien. Tomorrow, a record high of 72. Record high for Madison tomorrow is 67, and we'll go past that, but showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Future track beginning early tomorrow morning. The clouds start moving in, but we're generally dry through the morning hours. Scattered showers and thunderstorms develop along the Mississippi River, move eastward. The highest severe weather threat will be later tomorrow afternoon as the storms approach Madison from the west. By 8 o'clock, we're looking at rain and perhaps just a few isolated thunderstorms. But notice the drop in temperatures, 47 by midnight and then down into the 30s with perhaps the precipitation changing to some flurries before it comes to an end. Rainfall amounts a half-inch to an inch over much of southern Wisconsin as the showers and storms move through. But after that, look at the drop in temperatures. 72 Thursday, 37 on Friday, and get used to it because we'll be in the mid to upper 30s all the way through next week and through next weekend. Just some chances for flurries about Tuesday and Wednesday of next week and maybe Friday night. So that's the good news. At least we shouldn't have any travel problems around here. First warn traffic, there are travel problems on the eastbound Beltline. Delays from around Stoughton Road all the way back to Verona Road. Travel time on the eastbound Beltline more than a half hour, whereas it's only 15 minutes back in the westbound direction between University Avenue and the interstate. Heading out of Madison, 25 minutes from the Beltline to Janesville on I-3990. A quick 16 minutes, Middleton to Sauk City and US 12. Downtown to Sun Prairie, East Washington Avenue and US 151 takes you 19 minutes. That's your News 3 Now First Warn traffic.
Carrie, thank you. With just weeks now before Thanksgiving, families are finalizing holiday plans. But with flu, COVID, and RSV circulating, doctors caution any gathering requires some thought and preparation. Doctors say right now the best thing you can do for your family is to get the flu vaccine and the latest COVID booster. Perhaps the most important advice of all, stay home if you don't feel well, especially to keep loved ones who are older or who have weaker immune systems safe.
We hear stories of vulnerable people becoming ill when a family member or friend came to an event with symptoms. So very, very important to think about others.
Opening the windows at large indoor family gatherings for better ventilation can help reduce the risk. Guests can test for COVID for an extra layer of protection. Experts also recommend that those at high risk for respiratory complications wear masks at large indoor gatherings. Next at 5, do you take dietary supplements? We'll tell you why some experts say they could be doing more harm than good when it comes to your heart health.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
If you're on Medicare and Medicaid, it pays to pick a plan with the benefits you want. With the iCare Medicare plan, members receive a spending account card that gives them $150 total per month to spend on food, OTC items, utilities, or even rent. Members also have a $0 copay for all covered Part D drugs and dental and vision coverage. Call to speak with a licensed sales agent who will help you find out if you're eligible. Rest easy. iCare is looking out for you and your health.
Okay, everyone, our mission is complete balanced nutrition. Together, we support immune function, supply fuel for immune cells, and sustain tissue health.
Ensure with 25 vitamins and minerals, and Ensure Complete with 30 grams of protein.
I became an orthopedic surgeon for a lot of reasons.
For a lot of reasons.
For a lot of reasons. To help you take walks again. To ease your pain. To rebuild your strength. And at every step along the way,
we take the time to answer all your questions.
We're here because we care. We care about you. You.
You.
They care about me.
Sauk Prairie Healthcare Orthopedics, now offering robotic-assisted knee replacement.
The Internet of Things is evolving, creating the Internet of You. And Spectrum, America's leading internet and mobile provider, is bringing you seamless connectivity across all your devices. Introducing Spectrum One, Spectrum Internet with speeds of 300 megabits, advanced Wi-Fi, and Spectrum Mobile Unlimited, all for just $49.99 a month. Call 833-673-4999. Spectrum Internet delivers speeds up to a gig with over 99.9% network reliability. Advanced Wi-Fi provides enhanced security and privacy that automatically blocks threats to protect all of your devices. And Spectrum Mobile gives you unlimited talk, text, and data with nationwide 5G and the most reliable service coast to coast. Switch now. Call 833-673-4999. At Spectrum, it's not just about connecting things. It's about connecting you. Get it all with Spectrum One, Spectrum Internet, advanced Wi-Fi, and one line of Spectrum Mobile Unlimited for $49.99 a month. Call 833-673-4999 or visit a Spectrum store today.
Remember this? Forecasts are predicting an unreasonably cold and snowy winter. Now's the time to winter-proof your home with USA Insulation. 35% more efficient than traditional insulation. Our foam in your walls keeps the cold air out and your warm air in. It's like putting a coat around your entire home. Call now before winter and get a $500 early bird discount.
USA Insulation.
The upcoming holidays are hectic enough without having to worry about appliances breaking down. Family-owned Brothers Maine is having a Veterans Day sale featuring kitchen and laundry deals on GE appliances. The lowest prices guaranteed. Feel like family. Brothers Maine.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
A warning to anyone taking certain over-the-counter dietary supplements for heart health.
New research shows they may not help, and in some cases may actually be harmful. This study conducted by Cleveland Clinic cardiologist Luke Laffin shows dietary supplements targeting high cholesterol, and they studied six of them here, including garlic, fish oil, turmeric, cinnamon, plant sterols, and red yeast rice. They don't appear to be the answer.
Probably not doing anything to help your quote-unquote heart health. In certain cases, they may actually be harmful.
Now, he also says there's a common misconception that statins are harmful to health, but he says their research did not find that in this study.
We'll get a final check on your first warn forecast when we come back.
Some ideas seem good, but aren't.
Maybe she could sell her house.
What could go wrong?
Like listing your house, then dealing with all the trouble, expense, not to mention closing costs. We Buy Ugly Houses can buy your house fast for all cash as is with no hassle. Call or click to sell quick.
As falling leaves give way to snow, Midwestern winters bring rough weather and high energy bills. Feldco's here to help with our biggest sale of the season. 50% off windows, no money down, and no interest until 2024. Winter's right around the corner, and the clock is ticking.
50% off windows and soon. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
How to holiday the Bob's way. Mr. Gnome, you look tired. I get it. It's exhausting going from one holiday sale to another, but not at Bob's Discount Furniture. With my everyday low prices and many financing options to fit your budget, you can get this 4-piece cottage chic sectional for only $19.99. In 2 colors with super comfy Bobapedic memory foam seating. Tight on space, the 2-piece is just $14.99. So you can relax and holiday the Bob's way. I couldn't have said it better myself.
When cleaning your air ducts, it's important to clean the entire system. An air duct cleaning from Stanley Steamer removes pounds of trapped dirt, dust, and allergens from your home completely. A cleaning that improves your home's indoor air quality, keeps your home cleaner longer, and can even improve the efficiency of your HVAC system. We want you to have the cleanest and healthiest indoor air possible. So call for a free inspection today.
Stanley Steamer gets your home cleaner.
It shouldn't take a storm of biblical proportions to find out who you can count on. It shouldn't take a 4-foot diameter oak tree in your kitchen to find out who you can trust. It shouldn't take the worst to bring out our best. But sometimes it does. And that's the silver lining.
How do you use your energy? Inspiring a spark of creativity? Working hard to reach your goals? Thinking outside the box to bring your vision to life? At Alliant Energy, we're creating more clean, renewable energy every single day to power what matters to you. Because even during the most powerful moments in our lives, we're not thinking about power, we're thinking about a brighter future. Alliant Energy, powering beyond.
Some ideas seem good, but aren't.
Maybe she could sell her house.
What could go wrong?
Like listing your house, then dealing with all the trouble, expense, not to mention closing costs. We Buy Ugly Houses can buy your house fast for all cash as is with no hassle. Call or click to sell quick.
Tonight on the CBS Evening News, your Thanksgiving meal will cost you more, but why inflation is not the only reason. That's all tonight right here on the CBS Evening News.
Back to Gary, final check.
Well, right now things are pretty quiet out there and it's mild. There are some showers well to our north and west, but right now we're going to stay dry through probably early tomorrow afternoon. But tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, there's the potential for severe weather, a slight risk of severe thunderstorms west of Madison and Dane County, marginal risk elsewhere. We have an alert day in the forecast for the potential for high winds and perhaps an isolated tornado in the strongest storms. It'll be a short period of time. That line of storms comes through probably mid to late afternoon into early evening. Areas west of Madison have the highest threat. But take a look at these temperatures right now. 67 Madison, 72 degrees in Lone Rock, 73 in Boscobel across Dane County, still 67 degrees in Brooklyn, 68 degrees in Mount Horeb.
Could be a bumpy ride as things change here. Gary, thank you. CBS Evening News is next. We're back in 30 for News 3 Now at 6.